know what's going on with Twitter, but who cares? Nobody's on X anyway, right? All right. We're streaming live. Again, day one here at CamX. Great group, man. It's what is it, 11 o'clock this morning, and the show is 11, actually past 11:30.
11:40.
Yeah, and so we've got everybody just roaming the floor. I've actually got another camera up here. I'm going to switch on here shortly that shows the some of the activity out there in front of us. But for this interview, I've got John Kehoe of Boaz Partners. Boaz Partners, they're one of our premier sponsors. Happy to have John joining me, as he's always attending these shows. He was with me last year at in Atlanta at CamX. So, John, good to see you again.
Yeah, good
always.
to see you.
Yeah. So, you know, we were talking before the show. You've been doing a little traveling lately. You just came back from a nice vacation. You're well rested. So,
well, I should.
Nice tan too, right?
Yeah, I should be well rested, but I was on the west coast of Mexico for a week. Flew back to Atlanta Sunday night,
right.
and on Monday night flew back out here to San Diego. So
yeah. So you'll get a break one of these days.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, it's good to have you back. Always love talking with you on what you guys focus in on. So for our listeners that aren't as familiar, give us kind of a 30-second highlight of Boaz Partners, your company.
Yeah, thank you. Boaz Partners, we are a professional and executive search firm.
Yeah.
We focus in specialty chemicals and advanced materials.
Yeah.
So we're out of Atlanta. There's 22 of us, which makes us about a mid-sized recruiting firm. We've been doing this for 16 years, thereabouts. We work all over North America.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, we support what I would call lower and mid-market companies.
Okay.
So anecdotally, we've worked with some of the biggest companies that are here today at CamX.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about some of them earlier.
Yep. But we really want to try to partner with, again, those mid-market companies and help them grow and help them find talent that they normally can't find on their own.
Right.
Right. So that's basically what we do. And then I would say about a third of the roles we work on are ops or engineering related. About a third tend to be commercial.
Okay.
And then that final third tends to be scientific or R&D type positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. So, you focus in on this industry. And I think to me that separates you guys. I don't know if every recruiting firm out there has a niche. I mean, do they? I mean, is that?
No, they don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what has always interested me in terms of Boaz, is that you guys really do hone in on a certain market, which is, advanced materials, the chemical industry, composites, which is a growing market. And I think it's a great place for you to be.
Yeah. We're not trying to be all things to all people.
Right.
So some firms, maybe they focus on sales roles, and that could be sales across any industry. And maybe that's their specialty. Their specialty is their generalist with a type of position.
Right.
We're built a little differently. Right? So we're trying to maybe not be an inch wide, a mile deep, but maybe a couple of inches wide, a mile deep.
I appreciate that. It's because I always feel like somebody who really embeds themselves in an industry and learns it, understands what the companies in that industry, what they want, what they're looking for, in talent, what they're looking for in the people in building their team. I don't know why people don't take that approach more often, but
well, because we have to say no sometimes, and that's hard, right? You have to stay disciplined. And you can't just take any role or any job that comes our way. We want to focus in certain areas. We want to support certain types of companies. Yeah. And that takes, again, it takes a little dedication, a little discipline to stay in your lane.
So to follow up on that, how are you guys keeping up with technology? I mean, things are changing at a rapid pace this day and age. So how do you keep up with technology in industries like this? Well,
we come to trade shows like CamX,
absolutely.
Jonathan. So, we're regular CAMX attendees. I'm a member of SAMPI. The other part of it, we tend to hire people out of industry.
Yeah.
So we're hiring technical folks to come and be part of our team internally. Mm-hmm. And then we spend our time talking to people on the phone. Yeah. So we don't spend a lot of time texting people or sending them LinkedIn messages. We actually have conversations with people on the phone.
Yeah. And
when you're talking, 20, 25 hours a week with people in the industry, you'd be surprised what you could learn. You can learn quite a bit.
It's funny, you've always heard the saying, you ask the right questions, you can really get to the bottom of who a person is, because they'll reveal it, may not directly, but sometimes indirectly.
That's right. That's exactly right. And also, if you ask a simple question, sometimes you'll get a very complicated, long-winded answer, Absolutely. Which is great.
Yeah.
If you ask a very complicated technical question, you get a 3-word answer.
Right.
And then that's not helpful.
That's not helpful at all. Yeah. Challenges. Well, I mean, in this day and age, younger people, you always hear, Gen Z is getting a huge knock right now. I mean, in terms of, for whatever reason, is there a challenge with the younger generation in finding and really putting them in the right place nowadays? I wouldn't think so with your niche, but maybe you could follow up on that, because you're looking for the right people. You're finding the right people, and you're really doing the sifting from the get-go. So
yeah,
but I'm sure there's a lot of wasted time that goes along the way, maybe.
Well, we try to minimize the wasted time, but one of the themes, and listen, I've been on a couple of times. One of the themes I talk about is the demographic challenge.
Yeah.
So 12,000 baby boomers retiring every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So that is an insurmountable momentum that's just going to be tough. That's not going to be interest rates, unemployment rates, federal policy. That's all going to affect things on the edges, on the margins. 12,000 baby boomers retiring every day. We don't have enough replacement workers.
Yeah.
So I'm a Gen Xer, not enough of us to go around.
Yeah.
The children of Gen Xers are the Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah.
And so since we were a small generation, our children, it represents an even smaller generation.
Right.
Now they're going to be well educated. They're going to be very technical. We're going to have challenges attracting them to industries outside of traditional technology, like the Googles and the Apples of the world, right? That's probably where they want to go work.
Yeah.
Someone who is 20 today studying engineering, they may not want to go work in a factory, making pre-preg.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some challenges there.
Of course.
I think the onshoring or industries are coming back to North America, back to the USA. There's going to be a big focus on making things for DoD and for the energy sector and for the medical sector. These are going to be high-paying sectors, and so we have some things going for us.
Yeah.
Not realized yet.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. And along those lines, so we've got a keynote speaker. One of the topics is obviously AI.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of AI?
I have.
Are you familiar with that? Because I don't know. It's a relatively new thing that people are kind of talking about. But anyway, we had a great keynote speaker on AI, and I was actually reading an article recently on in a Harvard Business Review talking about embracing Gen AI at work. I guess, in the article, it's assuming that, the younger generation is being raised on AI, Chat GPT and everything. I know my kid, I've got a kid in college, and I hope that he's legitimately writing papers and not using, not being, lulled with Chat GPT. But any comments on that?
Well, I'm certainly not an AI expert, right? So, and from what I understand, we're very much in the infancy stages of how AI can be used and adopted. And
I
mean, there's going to be requirements around how are they going to be powered and where are these resources going to come from and what sectors are going to be focused on. Right now, every sector is getting a little bit of an AI focus. I don't know that that's going to be the case going forward.
Yeah.
I will say that the recruiting industry, the business of a recruiting firm, is not immune to the need or the desire to look for, let's say, an AI solution.
Right.
And true, younger, workers, younger people want to adapt and embrace AI quicker. There's no easy button though in recruiting, right? So already there are algorithms or robots that can line up somebody's skill set to do a job. But that's not what we get paid to go find, right? We get paid to go find all that stuff that's in between the lines and to seek out motivation of a candidate and the why behind things. That only comes from having a conversation, right? That only comes from a very long conversation with the candidate, with a person. And it really comes when you can do that without an outcome in mind. Right? When you were just committed to the process instead of being committed to an outcome, you get real answers. So that's what we do. It is harder. It does take, it takes more resources. It's laborious. It's not easy. There's no easy button. I don't know of an AI solution in the near term that's going to replicate that. So yes, we are looking for ways to find a candidate quicker. We're looking for things, how AI can help us use our tools quicker, but it's never going to replace our ability to pick up the phone or our requirement to pick up the phone and call somebody and have a conversation with them and ask them questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no replacement for that personal connection.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so it comes down to, looking at a resume just doesn't tell the whole story.
Lastly, and I want to mention, people can find boazpartners.com to learn more. So walk us through real quick on the process that your team, when you're talking to a client, a company who is really in need of talent out there, what is that conversation? You talk about having that conversation or a number of conversations. How does that go about once they come on board? Obviously, you're doing investigative work and finding exactly what they want to do. But if you could just kind of take us through that.
Well, that's it. It's that investigative work. It's even before they come on board. Right. So that discovery process of us trying to understand not just the role or the position that a company is trying to hire for, but how did we get here in the first place? Give us that context about how we got here, what's going on, where do you want to go? We want to try to understand the quality of the existing team, companies we could recruit out of, companies that we can't recruit out of. What's next for this person at that company? Why would someone want to go work there? This is an in-depth, hour and 15-minute process just to try to understand one role. It's also the opportunity for a potential client to evaluate us. So I always tell potential clients, judge us by the questions we ask you rather than what we tell you. So the recruiting industry is a Me Too business. Yes, we can do that. We can fill that role quicker, faster, cheaper than anybody else. It's not always true. It's pretty disingenuous when it comes across that way. So this discovery process is a neutral way for us to learn about you and you to learn about us. And then sometimes it doesn't make sense that we work together, right? Sometimes it doesn't. And so we don't know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
there's nothing wrong with that, right? It comes with what I was mentioning earlier about saying no. We can't help all people.
Well, you think about it. There's hundreds of exhibitors here that represent companies, but there's only certain parameters around what clients you're looking to work with.
100%.
So
that's right. 100%. And then within that, right, the role has to be fairly specialized. It has to be fairly skillful. If you could just find this person off the street and hire them, you wouldn't need us.
No, that's right.
So we got to go hunt for this person. And oftentimes we're dealing with very specific skill sets.
Engineers, chemists.
R&D people, polymer scientists, engineers, specialized commercial people who know how to get spec'd into, let's say, a DoD project, right? That takes a certain type of skill set. Furthermore, we oftentimes get asked to fill confidential roles.
Okay.
Right. So that's when, certainly you're going to want us to take you through a detailed, in-depth discovery process.
Yeah. When
you are potentially looking to make a change on your team for who you already have, right, especially if it's a leadership position.
Oh yeah.
So that is an area where we get asked to kind of help out, and it's not an area that's advertised.
Yeah.
It's no one saying, "Hey, I'm looking to replace my head of sales," when their head of sales is standing right next to them.
I know.
Right. So we have to maintain a little bit of tact and decorum here walking around the show.
Right. For sure.
So that's part of, just comes with doing this for a long time and working with the types of companies we work with.
John, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. Hope you enjoy the time here. You'll be here till what, Thursday or Wednesday?
We're leaving. I'm here with a colleague of mine. We're leaving Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
And certainly be around. Absolutely. Go to the website for more information, or if you want, pick up the phone and call me.
That's right.
My mobile number is 404-360-8424, 404-360-8424, or John, John, at boazpartners.com. And we should have a conversation.
Yeah. And you guys are based out of Atlanta, the Atlanta area?
Based out of Atlanta. We have a brick and mortar, headquarter location. Okay. I'm there every day. We have people, all over. But we have 22 people, but many of them are outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, sure. Well, John, it's good to see you again.
Hey man, good to see you.
Thanks as always for coming by, and best of success and at the show.
And likewise, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it, man.